When Intel recently launched their Panther Lake laptop chip built on their brand new 18A process, I reviewed a ZenBook Duo from ASUS with 2 screens and a very hefty price tag. That laptop used a new Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, and now it's time for this MSI Prestige 14-inch notebook. Much more conventional, runs a Core Ultra 7, and for some reason it's arrived with a French keyboard. Let's remind ourselves how Intel Panther Lake or Core Ultra 300 is configured. The processor comes in 3 basic flavors: 8-core, 16-core and 16-core with 12xe3 graphics, or if we prefer, small, medium and large. The small version has 8 processor cores, that's 4 P cores and 4 LP or low power E cores. It has 12 PCI Express lanes and 4 of the new Xe3 graphics cores. The medium version has 16 CPU cores. In addition to the 4 P cores and 4 LP E cores, we have 8 E cores. PCI Express in this version, 20 lanes, but we still have 4 Xe3 graphics cores. This CPU is clearly intended for adding graphics. The big boy has the same 16-core configuration as the medium version. It only has 12 PCI Express lanes because there's no intention of adding graphics, and it has 12 Xe3 graphics cores. So going from left to right in this chart, you might think we're looking at Core Ultra 5, Core Ultra 7 and Core Ultra 9, but you'd be wrong. As we see in this list, which shows a large part of the Core Ultra 300 product stack. At the top, it's the Core Ultra X9 388H, that's the CPU in the ZenBook Duo that we previously reviewed. 16 CPU cores and the full-fat Intel Arc B390 GPU, that's the 12xe3 version. In second place we have the Core Ultra X9 378H, which is a slightly slower version of the 388H. On paper, the Core Ultra X7 368H looks absolutely identical to the Ultra X9 378H, and that is identical in terms of the core counts, the power rating, maximum boost speed, base clock speed, and also the graphics. In fact, the only difference between this Core Ultra X9 and the Core Ultra X7 is support for vPro, and generally we'd expect this to be designated, for example, Core Ultra X7 and Core Ultra X7 Pro, but nope. For some reason, Intel's decided one of these processors is a Core Ultra X9 and the other is a Core Ultra X7. So now let's compare the Core Ultra X9 388H that we reviewed in that Intel ZenBook Duo with the Core Ultra X7 358H that we're reviewing in this MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus. And we see the specifications are virtually identical. The difference is down to clock speeds, with the Core Ultra X7 358H running 200 or 300 MHz slower than the Core Ultra X9. Nominally this is on the same power settings, however this will come down to the precise settings used by the laptop manufacturer. And what that means is that while that ASUS ZenBook Duo is an incredibly clever laptop with its dual screens and its very high price, this MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus internally has much the same hardware, and it's obviously a far more conventional laptop. In actual fact, it's even more conventional than we expected. We were told by the PR agency who sent it to us that this was a flip model, but you'll note it's not touchscreen. Flips flip beyond the horizontal. You can fold the screen back and then you get a pencil and the screen is a touchscreen. This is in fact a non-flip Prestige 14 AI Plus. So what we have here is an incredibly conventional Intel Panther Lake laptop. So let's take a look at the specification and then we can talk about the performance. The overview of the Prestige 14 AI Plus isn't very helpful because it uses those words up to, but it's clear we're looking at a 14-inch laptop with an OLED display that has a resolution of 1920 by 1200, and the graphics will be coming from the processor. There's no scope for adding graphics with this chassis. With the sample we have on review, as mentioned, the processor is a Core Ultra X7 378H, so that's 16 cores, 4 P cores, 8 E cores, 4 LP E cores, and the graphics are Intel Arc B390, which means 12 by XE3. For memory, we have 32GB of LP DDR5X, that's DDR5 8533. Storage is a 1TB M.2 SSD, which is Gen 4. For connectivity, we have Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6. When it comes to ports and connectors, on the left hand side we have two Thunderbolt 4 USB-Cs that support DisplayPort and 100-watt charging, and also an HDMI 2.1. And on the right hand side we have two USB-As, they're 3.2 Gen 2 and a headset jack. The battery is rated at 81 watt hours and the charger is 65 watts and uses a Type-C connector. The laptop weighs 1.3 kilos and the power adapter adds 200 grams. In the specification I mentioned the MSI has two USB-Cs which are Thunderbolt 4. But if you compare this ASUS ZenBook with the MSI, you'll see that the MSI doesn't have any Thunderbolt logos next to those USB-C ports, where the ASUS does. So that raises the question, does the MSI actually have Thunderbolt ports? And after I spent some time working with this USB 4 enclosure for an M.2 SSD, and this USB 3.2 enclosure for an M.2, and these two Gen 5 M.2s, and also a Thunderbolt 4 hub, I came to the conclusion that yes, the MSI most likely does have two Thunderbolt ports and they simply forgot the logos. To put some numbers on things, when you run Crystal DiskMark on the internal SSD in both the MSI and the ASUS ZenBook, they each run a Micron Gen 4 SSD, you have a read speed of 7GB per second and a write speed of 6GB per second. When you install the Gen 5 SSD in the USB 4 enclosure, the read speed is 4GB per second and the write speed is 1GB per second. And when you install a Gen 5 SSD in the USB 3.1 Gen 2 enclosure, the read and write speeds drop to 1GB per second. So MSI, if you wouldn't mind, do please put the Thunderbolt logo next to those USB-C ports and you'd have saved me a fair amount of time and trouble. The OLED screen is a 16:10 aspect ratio, has a resolution of 1920 by 1200, which annoyingly cuts the final U out of the Kit Guru logo, making us Kit Gur. Its 400 nits brightness rating just about does the job. Set at 60%, it's okay indoors under regular office lighting, and when you increase the brightness setting to 100%, it actually looks quite bright. But if you go outdoors, there's very little chance of you being able to use this laptop if the sun is out. Our verdict is that the screen is adequate, but not great. Let's look at some performance charts, starting with Geekbench 6 multi-core. Top of the laptop chart, it's that ZenBook Duo with the Core Ultra X9 388H. The MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus is in third place, and it's only a few percent behind. It's a similar story in Geekbench 6 single core. The ZenBook Duo with the Core Ultra X9 is top of the chart, and the MSI with the Core Ultra X7 is in fourth place. We can see more clearly what's going on in Cinebench 2026 multi-core. Top of the chart, it's the HP ZenBook Ultra G1A with the mighty AMD Strix Halo, first on charger and then on battery. In third place we have the ZenBook Duo running at 3.1 GHz on 40 watts, and two places behind that we have the MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus running at 2.7 GHz on 27 watts. Clearly that gives the ZenBook Duo with the Core Ultra X9 the edge on performance, but when we look at efficiency, in other words, we take the score in Cinebench 2026 and we divide by the power draw for the CPU, we see the MSI with the Core Ultra X9 is more efficient than the ZenBook Duo. In 7-zip we again see the HP ZenBook Ultra G1A with AMD Strix Halo at the top of the chart, and behind that it's the ASUS ZenBook Duo with the Core Ultra X9. A moderate distance behind that we have the MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus. Aida 64 memory bandwidth test throws up another factor. The ZenBook Duo with Core Ultra X9 388H is running on LPDDR5X 9600, where the MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus is running on LPDDR5 DDR5X 8533. So we're comparing incredibly fast laptop memory with very fast laptop memory. And just to make things crystal clear, the HP ZenBook at the top of the chart has a quad channel memory controller, hence its enormous lead. And we move on to gaming. Assassin's Creed Mirage, resolution is 1920 by 1200. We're on the ultra high preset, and we have FrameGen enabled. The HP ZenBook with AMD Strix Halo wins. Then we have the ASUS ZenBook Duo with the Intel Core Ultra X9, and 15 FPS behind that we have the MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus. Bear in mind both the ASUS ZenBook Duo and the MSI Prestige are running on the same Intel B390 graphics. Assassin's Creed Mirage, again at 1920 by 1200, we're just using TAA without FrameGen. Here we see the ZenBook Duo is running at 45 FPS on average, and the MSI Prestige is 38 FPS on average. That closes the gap between the two laptops, but neither of those is a good gaming experience. Cyberpunk 2077 at 1920 by 1200 with the Ultra preset, and again we have FrameGen enabled. We see the ZenBook Duo running at 103 FPS on average, and the 1% lows are 65. By contrast, the MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus is running at 75 on average, but a mere 25 1% lows. That's a huge difference, and it's clear which of those you prefer to play. And Cyberpunk 2077 at 1920 by 1200 with XeSS disabled, we see the ZenBook Duo is running at 37 FPS on average, while the MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus is running at 31 FPS on average. Which makes it all the more peculiar the way that the ASUS leaps forward when FrameGen is enabled while the MSI does not. And we finish with PCMark 10 battery test. The ZenBook Duo at the top of the chart ran for 1,428 minutes. That's just shy of 24 hours, which would be 1,440 minutes. In second place, it's the MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus at 1,342 minutes, which is more than 22 hours. It's worth noting the ZenBook Duo actually has two batteries, one behind each screen, so it's a very unusual laptop. So as far as conventional laptops go, the MSI Prestige 14 AI Plus is absolutely amazing. Before we get to my conclusions, I should mention the keyboard, which is absolutely fine, completely forgettable. So forgettable, I forgot to even mention it. I was using it throughout my testing. The fact it's got a French layout, so I had to kind of think every so often, was more of a factor to me than the keyboard itself. Touchpad, similarly, perfectly okay. Nothing special. And then we turn to pricing. You have to recall I was originally expecting a Flip, so I was sent a link to the Flip at the MSI web store in France. This is a French laptop after all, and the price for that laptop was 1,899 euros, but this is not that. Looking around, I found another MSI Prestige with the Core Ultra 7 355, so not the same model. That's on sale in the UK at £1,350. So I'm estimating that this particular laptop, if it's on sale anywhere, will be priced around £1,550, which is a lot. Then again, that is the story of 2026. Everything is expensive. The ZenBook Duo that I reviewed, which is an amazing laptop, is very expensive, but it's a special laptop. It has two really good screens. It's a unique form factor. The idea that was horribly expensive, not a great shock. This laptop, £1,500, more than £1,500, youch, youch, youch. Frankly, average is average fare. I mean, it kind of is. It's a thin light laptop with integrated graphics, but it's a good processor without being quite the best processor with the best graphics. Good memory without being the best, but DDR5 8533 can't sniff. It's got proper storage. Everything about it is fine, and yet the price it still feels high. And we come to my pros and cons. We're going to start with the good stuff. Excellent battery life. The chassis is slender and lightweight, and it has decent performance and offers a healthy improvement over Lunar Lake Core Ultra 200. Cons, the negatives. The OLED screen is adequate but unimpressive. The ports and connectors are rather close together. Clearly, if you're Type-C and wireless, you'll have no issue. If on the other hand you want to use Type-A's and or plug in a headset jack, that could all get a bit close for comfort. Thirdly, the price is fairly steep for a thin light laptop, no adding graphics, no extras, no bells and whistles. As I say, balanced against that, sadly this is the way of the world. What score shall I give it? Well, the ZenBook I showed you earlier is my own, and that is a Lunar Lake laptop. I would happily trade that laptop for this laptop, but I wouldn't consider selling that laptop to buy this laptop. So I'm going to say that, well, it has to make it a 7.5 out of 10 and a worth considering, because I literally did consider it. Do please check us out at kitguru.net on the web, and also we're on TikTok.